Hello my Luminites, it is Ivy and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, hello, my name is Ivy, also known as Intuitive IVM, here on this channel and on intuitiveivy.com where I do tarot and oracle card readings. So if you like the magical, the mystical, the spiritual, and the supernatural, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on that notification bell to be notified when I post new videos. So we're going to be talking about my top most used tarot decks that I used for this year in 2020. I feel like this would be a really good way to wrap up the year. So I'm doing my most used tarot decks, and then I'm going to do my most used oracle decks for 2020. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. My 8th most used tarot deck would be this one, Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck. Why? Because I mean, everybody knows Nightmare Before Christmas. It's very relevant. It is a tarot deck that when I use it, my clients tend to really like this tarot deck, and it's just, I love it. I love it. I vibe with it. I've loved The Nightmare Before Christmas since I was really little. It is literally the only movie that I can literally quote from start to finish. I literally know the whole movie and every single word by heart. Like, that's not even an over exaggeration. Like, that's how much I've seen this movie. So of course this is a deck that I reach out for often ever since it came in, and I love it. I love it, even though the only flaw to it would be that some of the minor arcana are a little bit pippish. So as you can see, like, they're just a little bit pippish, as in like they're just very simplistic. They don't have too much to them, just like, you know, the Seven of Needles or the Seven of Swords. It's just needles. It's nothing too big. But as for like the major arcana, you know, we see a lot of beautiful imagery, and like I said, not all of them are like that. For example, this is the Three of Presents or the Three of Pentacles, and this one's still very colorful and vibrant. I really love it. The backs give me a very Haunted Mansion vibe. Not really Nightmare Before Christmas vibe, but it gives me a Haunted Mansion vibe. So I love the backs of these. They're very like spooky-ish, haunty-ish. I love this deck. This is a deck that I just really vibe with, just because I really vibe with The Night Before Christmas, and this is a deck that a lot of, you know, people that I read for can really connect with too, because just like me, most people are a huge fan of The Night Before Christmas. And the Nightmare Before Christmas deck you can get on Amazon for it's on sale right now for $19.99, but the regular price is $24.99. I don't know how long this sale is going to be going on for, but between $19.99 and $24.99. Coming in at number 7 is another newer deck that I got recently, but it is one that I've had my eye on since the beginning of the year when I was first like really starting to read tarot. It is a Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Krans, and it looks like this is another very popular deck, being the #1 bestseller in tarot on Amazon. So this is a deck that's very nature-based, very animal-based. So if you're not, you know, a big fan of, like, you know, this steers away from the Rider-Waite tarot immensely. So if you're like newer to tarot, or if you just don't vibe with things that are completely outside of the Rider-Waite vibe and energy, this is not going to be one that you like too much. But it is very nature-based, very animal-based, and that's why I love it. I love the imagery. I love the contrast between like the monochrome black and white and then like the sudden color that's like in the images. So the backs look like this. What's the word that I'm looking for? Illusiony? Swirly? I don't know what I'm talking about. But the backs look like this. And then the fronts are so beautiful. So this is the Father of Wands, the King of Wands. We have Temperance, but you can see like the difference between like the black and white imaging and then the color. It's just absolutely gorgeous. The Magician is this beautiful like leopard. It's just so beautiful. We got the Ten of Swords. And it's just like the imagery, the symbolism behind it, it's just absolutely gorgeous. The Son of Crows, or Son of Crows, Son of Swords, I don't know what, the Son of Swords, I don't know what I'm talking about now, which is the Knight of Swords, the Two of Cups, which, I mean, just look at this. It's so simple, yet you can still grasp the meaning behind it. So obviously we know that the Two of Cups is like love, union, and this symbolizes that just very beautifully, even it being so simple. And it's just one that I turn to very often. Like, the illustrations are just absolutely gorgeous. They can be a little bit simplistic. Only thing that I have to say is this cardstock, for some reason I expected the texture to be a little bit different, but I'm not complaining because it is very easy to shuffle these cards. So the Wild Unknown Tarot, if you were to get it at a store, it usually goes for around $40, $39.99. But if you get it on Amazon right now, it's on sale for $18.99. I've seen it go from $18.99 to $21.99 to $24.99, which is still honestly really cheap compared to the $39.99 that you would spend at a store. So that is the Wild Unknown Tarot. Alright, so coming in at number 5 is one that you have probably seen in at least a couple of my videos. I know for sure the Bonding with Your Tarot deck, that's the one that I used, that I was interviewing back in like summertime, because that's when I got this deck. I want to say I got this deck around like June or July. But ever since then, this is a deck that I really like the illustrations are very beautiful, and I tend to use it with just my clients that I feel like vibe with this more like what's it called, like more like feminine, girly energy. I tend to use it on those clients, the ones that I know are gonna vibe with this deck. So this is the Muse Tarot, and it looks like this. So I absolutely love this tarot deck. Like, this is one that there's like no fish cards. There's so much going on in each and every card. There's so much symbolism to it. There's so much, like, the illustrations are just absolutely gorgeous, and they're so different than anything I've ever seen, but you can still sort of like grasp the images. Like, it strays away from the Rider-Waite, but yet if you were to put the Rider-Waite and then these images, some of them you'd still kind of get it. Like, oh, the magician, you see this person. I'll put a picture of like the traditional Rider-Waite magician here so you guys can kind of see. This looks like, what's her name, Dorcas from Sabrina. I just noticed that. Both the minor arcana and the major arcana are very vivid in their imaging and their illustrations. And of course the pages are muses, so instead of being it looking like that traditional vertical way, they would flip them to the side and then the illustrations go this way, which I think is really different yet very beautiful. There's another deck that I have my eye on that has the same sort of style where the cards are flipped this way, but it's like very steep in the price point. It's like $65 or something. So I'm gonna wait for it, but I definitely have my eye on it, and hopefully I will get it one day. You can get this at Amazon for, it's usually $26.99, but right now you can get it for $21.20 US dollars. All right, so coming in at number 4 is another one that I got back in like the beginning of the year. As soon as I got it, it was one that I just really vibed with. I really loved the illustrations. I really like how it's different. It's a little bit different than the Rider-Waite, but I love how this is a deck that even if you're a beginner, you will still understand, just because the images, like, they kind of basically say the meaning to what each card means, and you're like, oh, this means that, like, it's obvious. So I really liked it. And that is the Everyday Witch Tarot. So first of all, the backs look like this. That's what attracted me. That's the first thing that attracted me to these cards. See, the illustrations are pretty straightforward, very straight to the point. Queen of Pentacles, and then we have this like nature around her, which, you know, pentacles represent earth, the earth element. Then we have the Knight of Cups, someone who's very romantic and charming, and you can tell that just by, you know, his cup with all these hearts. You have the Magician, which, like, these, I feel like these illustrations are just pretty straightforward. It's so cute. This one reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. The Hermit. The Three of Cups. As you can see, like, they're pretty straightforward. They're pretty straight to the point. Like, even if you didn't know tarot, you'd probably see this and be like, oh, it's friends having fun, like they're celebrating something. Yeah, that's pretty much what the Three of Cups means. So, you know, I feel like this is a really good deck to use, especially if you're like starting out with tarot. The Seven of Wands, you can see it's somebody like that's standing up for themselves, and that's pretty much what the Seven of Wands means. It's really pretty. The illustrations are absolutely gorgeous, and my favorite card is this one. It's the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is literally my favorite. I always look, every time I get a new tarot deck, the first card that I will go looking for is the Queen of Wands, just because I really vibe with that energy. So this Queen of Wands has pretty much been my favorite Queen of Wands out of all the Queen of Wands in every tarot deck that I own. It's just, I love it. The Everyday Witch Tarot can be found on Amazon for $25.70. Usually it's $29.99. Although I don't think they're going to change that price, because back when I got it in April, it was around the same price, $25.99. Okay, so the third most used deck of 2020 that I've used in 2020 is the Mystic Mondays Tarot. This is coming in at number 3 because this is my third most used one. This is like the second tarot deck that I bought, because before this I had one tarot deck that I had been using for years. Like, I was literally using this tarot deck for years. And then I was like, you know what, I need a new tarot deck, and I went on this hunt for the tarot deck that I vibed with, and the one that called to me the most was this one. So he went ahead and bought it for me for Mother's Day, and I love it. So this is one that's very, like, it has those very abstract-y shapes. So if you're not into those like abstract shapes, you're probably not gonna like this. It has a very abstract pip vibe. So if you're new to tarot, this might be one that's a little bit harder. When I was first using it, I was like, what does this one mean? But because some of them are a bit pippish and they're a little bit hard to understand. It has that rainbowy holographic design on the sides. The back is what really called me to these. They just have like a really cool psychic-y energy to them. But the fronts look like this. So like I said, very abstract-y, very colorful. So if you're into colorful decks, this is definitely one. This is the Knight of Cups. We have the Hermit. So this is what I mean by like pippish. The Ten of Pentacles, it's just 10 pentacles, not really too much info to that one. The Queen of Swords, the Seven of Wands, the Magician, the Seven of Pentacles, the King of Cups. Gives me like total like 80s and 90s vibes. But this is a deck that I reach for often. You guys have probably seen it in quite a few of my videos because I do grab for it a lot. On Amazon right now, it is $20.57. So if you are into something that's very abstract, very, you know, it has a little bit of the pippish vibe, but it's very abstract-y, very, I don't know, cute. I want to say very 90s, 80s, 90s vibes. Definitely get your hands on that one. Okay, so coming in at number 2 is my favorite, my personal favorite tarot deck. You guys know that this is my favorite tarot deck because I literally did a whole review. I mean, I had to review it. This is my favorite tarot deck. And it is the Modern Witch Tarot deck by Sterle. But it looks like this, so the backs look like this. It has the MW for Modern Witch. And then the front, this is one that I feel like is perfect for, like, if you want to learn tarot and you want, obviously the first one that you should try to learn is like the Rider-Waite cards. But if you don't like the Rider-Waite cards, but you want something that's kind of along the same lines but more modern and more like feminine female power vibes, I would definitely go for this one. These are very colorful, but these are they're all women, and that's what I love. Like, that's what I really, really love. Like the High Priestess, as you can see, it's women of all shapes, of all colors, and that's what I really, really love about this deck. Like, this is a deck that I am always using with clients. This is like my most used deck, especially with clients, because this is a deck that, you know, especially all my female clients can just really, really connect with, because it's so diverse, it's so beautiful, it doesn't stray too much from the Rider-Waite Tarot. You get so much symbolism behind it, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Like, this is my favorite deck. This is the one that I'm always reaching for. Not only that, but the cardstock is amazing. It is thick. It is very what's it called? Very like shiny, but yet very smooth at the same time. Like, even though it's shiny, some shiny decks can be very sticky and like stick to each other, but this one is so easy to shuffle. This is my favorite deck. Like, this is my favorite deck. This is the deck that when I started to use it, something like sparked. Like, all my other decks, like, I'm either like friends or best friends with. This is my true love right here. I love this deck so much. Like, I connect with it so much. Like, so much. Like, you guys have no idea. I love this deck so much. If you were to get one deck, this one. The Modern Witch deck is sold on Amazon. It's usually $24.95. Right now it is $22.46. Although I've seen it for like for a while it was like $18 or $19. So try to look out for those sales, because when I bought it, I think it was like 20 bucks or less. I know what you guys might be thinking. This is your favorite deck, and this is the one that you say that you love the most. So why is it not your number one most used deck? Well, it's not my number one most used deck because I tend to use a lot of oracles as well. Although this specific, what I thought was an oracle, is technically called a tarot. The number one deck that I use is actually one that I've had longer than the Modern Witch Tarot, and it's one that, like, it's not like your standard tarot, it's more like oracle form, but it's called a tarot, so that's why I had to put it as number one, because I still use it very consistently, and I've had it longer than the Modern Witch, so I've used it more than the Modern Witch, and I still use it as much as the Modern Witch to this day, and that is the Osho Zen Tarot by Osho. That is the author. And it looks like this. I will put a picture of the box here, because I already told you guys that I'm not home right now, so most of these decks I don't have boxes with me. And it is $19.37 on Amazon, but usually it's around $29.99. When I got it, it was around $29.99. And the box is huge for this one, but it looks like this. So this, like I said, is not your standard tarot. It's not going to be your typical, 78 card deck. This is actually 79 cards, and it's completely different. So instead of it being like the Two of Swords, the Three of Swords, the Queen of Wands and King of Pentacles, it's like kind of like an oracle, but it's called a tarot. So we got patience, got flowering. What I love about this tarot is that it's just one word, has so much symbolism behind it, and when you use it in combination with like the traditional tarot, it gives such powerful messages to people. And I love the fact that, like, I feel like, especially with a lot of oracles, I know this isn't an oracle, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of oracles tend to stick to like the lighter side and like the blessings that are coming your way. And I love how Osho Zen is very versatile, where it has like both sides of the coin. It has like your happy cards, and then it has your like, more, a little bit heavier cards. It has like clinging to the past, and it has fighting, and it's very versatile, where it has like both sides of the coin. It has your happy cards, and and it has intensity. the source, and it's just it literally talks about so many aspects of life. It talks about, oh, there's love cards in here, there's politic cards in here, there's just so much to these cards. You can get so many messages, such in-depth perception from these cards that I just love them so much, and that is why this is my #1 most used tarot deck. So like I said, not like your standard tarot deck, but it's technically called the Osho Zen Tarot, which is why I added it to this one and not the oracles. Anyways, you guys, that is all. Let me know, what are your most used tarot decks? And also, if you have any of these and what you think of them. But yeah, anyways, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of my Luminite family. And also, thank you. I hit 300 subscribers, which was my goal for 2020. So I'm so happy about that. So thank you guys so much. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.